No right nobodies, none of that. Anywhere, anytime, any place. I want to talk about Valiant Renegade's video last night and talk about my upload. So today, we know for a fact after Friday that there's a hiring freeze in place at Lucasfilm. Disney, okay, which includes Lucasfilm. So my thing is, here's the deal. It's happening. If they announced it, there are layoffs coming. Bob Chapek said there's going to be a lot of uncomfortable decisions to be made. I don't know how uncomfortable it would be to fire someone like Latoya, what's her face, and Tone Newton. Hey, Carla, but you know, it's a way to see Chapek now with the sword of justice in his hand go through and start getting fat out, but not just fat. People who have not contributed at all to Disney and Lucasfilm and Marvel. Pixar, I think Pixar is going to be gutted. I think Disney Animation is going to be gutted. And I think Lucasfilm is going to be gutted. I really honestly do. So how are they going to do it? Well, last night, somebody, one of the subscribers who did a super chat to Valiant, Renegade, WDW Pro, and Cameron, came out and said, I have heard, I'm paraphrasing, I have heard that Lucasfilm is going through evaluations on assets and liability. That's a different way of saying an audit. Now, what happens when it's not a tax audit? It is an audit like Office Space. People come in and have the structure of the company in front of them, and everybody below Kathleen Kennedy has to go talk to them. And what these people do is they say, here's where you need to cut. These are redundancies. This person's not doing their job. Okay, trust me, they're kind of like lawyers. They already know the answer to the question. Okay, so when they ask you. Okay, so you can't shock them into liking you. Also, please hit the likes, and if you haven't subscribed, please. I have a lot of new subscribers, and I'm very proud to welcome you guys to the cantina. Anyway, as far as my blood sugar today, when I'm done here, I'm going to test it again. Woke up, it was 93. Before I ate, it was 70. So, hi, hard work. Anyway, so here's the deal. I think what's going on is people at ILM will be talked to. I think they're fine. People at THX will be talked to. They're probably fine. That's a premier special effects place and sound place in Hollywood. And they never miss a beat. Okay, they never miss a beat. But the creatives that do stories, producers, those executives are gone. They're going to be gone. Pablo Hidalgo, how does he have his, let's look here for a second. No, he was inspired by the fact that their quarterly earnings report sucked. Okay, again, I keep explaining this to people and it goes in one ear, rattles around, goes out the other. This is the thing, okay? He has to answer to a board. What is the difference between him answering to the board and David Zaslav and Elon Musk? They outright own the companies. Twitter is a private company, okay? And Warner Brothers belongs to Zaslav. Period. Full stop. Okay. He answers to no one. All right. He had nothing to do with this, with what's going on at Disney. Again, Bob Chapek has to answer to the board of directors. Elon Musk does not. Put a 1 in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. Bob Chapek could not go out and do, and if you saw how big Disney is, the corporate structure, you'd understand why it's been taking so long. Disney isn't Marvel, Lucasfilm, Disney Animation Studios, Disney Studios, Pixar, and Fox. Okay. It's literally hundreds and hundreds of little places that probably need to be cleaned out. Okay. That's why it takes so long. And Chapek has to make sure the board is with him on that. Because look, if the investors get pissed, they all get replaced. So, all right. So when I heard people bitching and moaning like, well, why doesn't Chapek do that? Or he's woke. They do not know, again, how big Disney is and what a massive job it's going to take to fix what's broken. Okay, because it's broken everywhere but the parks and the cruise lines. Okay, so let's have a conversation. So what happens? All right, first off, we're going to see what dipshit Pablo is doing today. So I don't know what an actualer is, but Curia of the Space Vatican. So he's saying, without saying it, that he still works at Lucasfilm. He really doesn't understand that he's probably going to be one of the first to go. Okay. He really doesn't understand how dire the situation is for him and his cohorts at Lucasfilm. I would say that even the surprise meeting, I'm sure he thinks somehow he's going to float around out there and get away with it and either keep his job or keep his contracting job. All right. Whatever he's doing at Lucasfilm. All right. But, his job's on the line, his wife's job's on the line. She shouldn't even, you know what she is? She's a party planner. She's a party planner for Lucasfilm. That's what she does. Now ask you guys a question. What's cheaper, to keep somebody like that who doesn't do anything all day except plan parties like for a Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, Halloween, the 4th of July, whatever? Is it cheaper to, oh, cool, Planet Musk. Is it cheaper to keep somebody like that on the payroll? Or is it easier to just have your staff assistants, your assistant, go out and hire a firm to do it? Okay, what is cheaper? It's probably cheaper to hire out. Okay. When I worked at the Leadership Institute, I was the assistant director for employment placement, but it was my duty to put up a party and to get people from Capitol Hill and the White House to come to talk about employment and getting people placed at in different places in Washington, D.C. That's part of the job. So why she's there in any capacity, I don't know. So her job's probably gone. Okay, because that is not a needed job. Why do they need 2 people who are experts in Star Wars lore when you've got Leland Chi? Why would you need Pablo? Okay, you look around and find redundancies. You find people who aren't doing their jobs. You have your auditors go, look, again, look at the corporate structure and target areas that are misfiring. All right. So, Disney as a whole, what areas are misfiring? Publishing. All right. The lady who does Star Wars for Disney Publishing, Jennifer Heddle, is a fat, disgusting, angry bitch. She has to go. Because everything that they've put out there, I mean, when you walk into Ollie's and you see hard covers of Alphabet Squadron not selling, okay. I think these are the layoffs that were foretold. Usually you get wind of these things months in advance. That's all right. Oh, hi. Yeah, I saw that stuff you were putting up there, Maze, and I think you're right about this. There's a chick out there who says she has proof that Indiana Jones is going to be erased from the series and they're going to give it to Phoebe Waller-Bridge. So basically, she's jumping on the bandwagon of Doomcock. Now, again, I don't know if that's true. I don't think so. With these, look, I'm going to tell you something about screenings. You don't have to do early screenings. To the general public, do you? You screen it to people who work for you. They're under non-disclosure agreements. So, they're the ones that'll go and say privately to the boss or to whoever's doing the thing and say, hey, look, this sucked. This was bad. Okay. And then the boss goes, okay, we need to fix this. All right. That's what happened at Disney. That's why Frank Marshall can chime in and say, I can confirm this didn't happen. Okay. That's why James Mangold can say there were no test screenings. Of course there were test screenings. It was Disney that put the test screenings on. Okay. All right. Now, if they can't figure a way to fix it, I think shelve it. Don't even put it on. Yeah, well, if ever, look, my thing is this. If every screening has Indy die and the British cockroach chick take the spot, she looks like a British stick figure. Then no. Then no. Okay, absolutely just no. If every one of them have that, okay. What you got to do, they're going to have to reshoot the ending. Maybe reshoot other parts. Okay. They're going to have to reshoot everything. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Here's the deal. Harrison Ford, well, right now, from Baz Taylor, I got this link to Daily Mail article. Harrison flew to London with his wife, Callista, to celebrate like her 56th birthday or 57th birthday or something. Okay, fine. So he's there. I don't know what has been left on the cutting room floor that can make it be better. people like Doomcock and others like to show that picture of Phoebe Waller-Bridge sitting there holding up Harrison Ford. He's in a parachute harness, passed out, looks like. They like to say he's dead in this. Look, it, it, there are people out there will use any terrible picture for clickbait, even on our side. We've seen it. Okay. We have to look at this and think critically about what everybody's saying. Okay. Do I think these screenings happened? Yes. Do I think they were poorly met? Yes. Do I think Bob Chapek ripped Kennedy's spine out of her body? Yes. Like the Predator. Do I think Kennedy said some ugly things back? All right. Here's the deal. Now we've got Star Wars Direct saying that Andor is going to Hulu and Freeform and some other places. I don't know why they're doing that. Maybe, I don't know why. But that tells me it's not doing very well. If you go on Instagram and challenge Star Wars Direct, all the little Zoomer bitches and losers will show up, millennials, and scream at you and bully you because they're doing that to me right now. In fact, I just had one say something semi-retarded. Now, when I'm done here, I'll rip their spines out of their socket, out of their bodies. What I really find fascinating is I'm middle-aged, I'm not old. Do I look old? Do I? I don't think so. I could pass for, what, 40? These old fuckers think 40 is old. All right. When I was 40, I looked like I was 25. Okay. Because I was in extremely good shape. All right. They don't understand what they're talking about. And they're bullies. And, oh, it was the Texas Raiders? Shit. I saw that. Oh, thank you, Maze. I saw that, and that really bothered me. My husband was the one that alerted me to that B-17. A B-17 at an air show was cut in half, I think by like a P-39 or another World War II vintage airplane. Literally cut in half. When you watch like old newsreels or gun camera reels from World War II, thanks, Carlos. That's really sweet of you, said no one ever. When you watch gun camera footage and you see, like, let's say like you've got a B-17 going, an ME-109, a German Messerschmitt gets hit and it's falling and it crashes through a B-17. Okay, that's kind of like what it was. It was extremely violent. It was extremely violent. Okay, and it was really bothersome. But let's get back to talking about what's going on. Talk about Indy 5. But I think Indy 5. I think these test screenings within Disney probably happened a month ago, 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. We're just hearing them now. Rule of thumb, guys, when Doomcock announces a rumor, it's usually about a week old, maybe older, okay? Even when WDW Pro does. The first time in my life, I've literally seen a rumor or a scoop, and Cameron was the one that got it, about the hiring freeze. And it was announced the day that he got it from the person who told him on Wednesday. And Friday, it was announced. Okay. So I think Indy 5 precipitated all of these announcements. I think that a lot of the crap that we see Leslie Headland doing is doing it on behalf of Kennedy, because IMDb Pro basically had Kennedy thrown in as a producer now. But again, what did Chapek say? I do believe I have the memo on here. Let us find it. All right. Let's find it. Okay. All right, that's not it. Okay, we gotta find this. Sorry, guys. Huh, okay. Well, Chapek talked about targeted evaluations. Targeted, all right. That means any division, any subdivision is going to be targeted. And evaluations basically means the Bobs show up and start asking employees, what do you do all day? Okay. The fact that HR is basically being triggered, that the head lawyer at Disney, Gutierrez, I think his last name has been tapped to run it, means these are top executives. Means that there are people that are going to leave with golden parachutes. All right. So this is a big fucking deal, and it was all laid out in the memo. So yeah, and it's I'm always flabbergasted at how unwieldy corporate structure is. It's like trying to stop an aircraft carrier dead, okay, and turn it around. It just, and it hasn't been until this time that Chapek has been able to do it, which is, I think, huge. Look, last night, Comrun and WDW Pro and Valiant all said that they think January 2nd is when we're going to start to hear people are laid off. Okay. All right. Let me explain. I did this in an upload, but I want you guys to hear it. When I worked at the Leadership Institute, 9/11 happened, and all of our donations were drying up because people were just horrified by what happened in New York and up here in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and DC, and we're giving millions to the Red Cross, Salvation Army, and the Leadership Institute is a nonprofit. It exists on donations, and I was the assistant director of employment placement. Part of my job was setting up meetings with employees or people, prospective employment workers. All right, prospective candidates, rewriting their resumes, because you get one that was about that thick, and it's like, oh God. Chief of Staff at Capitol Hill wants to see a resume on something like this. That's it. Look at your name and set it down. All right, put a check on it. I'll talk to this guy or girl, or I won't. Okay, they don't want to sit there and go through a 5 fucking page novel. And it's just difficult. So I would do that. But with resume writing tools happening all over the place on the internet, and the ability to upload your resume to the website, the Leadership Institute website, my job was, look, technology removed me, and that was fine because while I didn't make as much money, I had a hell of a lot more fun. Working on Capitol Hill was a freaking blast. Okay, it was a freaking blast, and it was probably one of the joys of my life to go to work every day, even when the office manager was being a fucking cunt, and I had to literally train myself to do my job. It was just a joy to be there because there's so much going on, and you never knew what was going to happen. So really, it was kind of a step up. All right. So, but that's what happens. You talk to this person, they look at the corporate structure, and they look at, are you redundant? And if there are two people, other people that do your job, who does the best job? All right. And if it's a job one person could do, why do we have two people doing this? Okay. That's part of it. Also looking for bad actors. And Disney has a few of them. And this is a way to remove Tone Newton, LaToya Raveneau, Pablo Hidalgo, Christine Hidalgo, Matt Martin, a lot of them. Okay, a lot of them. Really just catastrophically untalented people. Yeah, and it's so we're gonna see a lot of shit go down. Okay. Yeah, she has a super cut. It's like that's a once I get everything up and running where I can have people on, I might expand into a paid, try to get it funded, try to get it monetized, another channel that's monetized. Why the fuck not now? Talk about everything, and it will be. I'll come up with different things, so I'm not running into the assholes of the censors that I do here, because they do. I'm not monetized, but they do push me around a little bit here on YouTube, and I just let them because I'm not going to change. Anyway, on this I won't. But here's the deal. It's going to be a moment of self-reflection, I think. Okay. It is going to be a moment where people who haven't been laid off, who won't get laid off, are going to have to say, we have to do better. There might be people that don't get laid off that are going to be very glad some of these lunatics are gone. All right. I look at Pablo Hidalgo and think he's probably not that popular at Lucasfilm. All right. He likes to pretend he is, but I think he's one of those people that takes responsibility when something goes well and blames other people when it doesn't. Okay, he's a narcissist. And there are quite a few of them there. But it's about Disney as a whole. Yeah, I honestly, I don't think there's enough money amongst all the billionaires to buy Disney. I really, really don't. You'd have to go through all the investors, and they'd probably say, what? It's not. Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion, right? Disney's worth a hell of a lot more. And as far as breaking it up, I I see somewhere a decade or two down the line, Disney being Disney parks, Disney animation, Disney cruise lines, Disney hotels, Disney resorts, and that's it. Okay. Because that's what they do best, Disney and Disney Studios. And they forgot that. And I don't think Marvel, one of my things is if you're worried about debt, put Marvel up for sale. Don't sell Star Wars. Sell Marvel. Don't sell Lucasfilm. Okay, because God knows who'd buy it. It might be worse. Okay. If Elon Musk bought it, which actually, I don't know what they'd evaluate Lucasfilm at now, but just because of inflation, it's probably worth more than what George got for it. But it's under 10 billion. So it's a thing. Problem with somebody like Musk buying it, who would distribute any movies? Okay, these, gotta think. Okay, so I foresee, just real thinking about the memo, that we may see. Well, I gotta tell you, they're running at like half their cast capacity, and they can't get a third of it or a quarter of it filled. That's the truth. That's out there. So I think that's probably going to be changed. Look, they're already removing yeah, it's true. They're already removing the sequel trilogy from Disneyland. Go to Disneyland, you'll see Dingy Aaron and the child. All right, cool. All right, I'll do that. Yeah, it's Disney. Like I said, is the USS Ronald Reagan trying to stop on a dime in the middle of the ocean. Well, I don't think so. I think what they should have done was turn it into like a classy, upscale Coruscanti hotel. All right, where you might see Baron Papanoida walking around with his family. You know, you know, and really, I mean, Pablo going, no one wants to see a middle-aged actor walking around dressed up like Han Solo. Because Pablo Hidalgo's not middle-aged. You go to watch my recent upload, that picture of him drinking a beer, that's him. He looks older than my husband, and my husband's 56. All right? They should have done, what you could do is you could have prequel days. Yep. Where you could have, oh, it's lovely to see you, Senator Mothma. Some guy dressed up like Palpatine who looks a lot like, you could have that going around. You could have original trilogy days where you could have, a cosplayer who looks a lot like Harrison Ford, and another one who looks like Carrie, and Mark Hamill, Billy D. You could have them wandering around. After the fall of the Empire, they're hanging out at this hotel. Okay. Along with that, then you could turn that cantina there into Chalmers, where you could actually have that Tatooine. And you could have that cosplayer or another cosplayer who plays a younger version of Harrison Ford, a Han Solo. They could act out scenes with bounty hunters or Obi-Wan Kenobi. I really think that's a silly idea, Dengar. And you could have an interactive Hoth experience. Here's why I know this would work. The United States Marine Corps Museum near Stafford and Quantico, Virginia, has a Chosin Valley experience where you walk in and it's like 40 degrees. Okay? Because back when the Chinese invaded, it was so fucking cold during that invasion. You couldn't believe it. And they wanted to make the experience real for people going in there to look at the artifacts and hear the stories of the veterans through the displays and everything. And if you ever want to look it up, the Frozen Chosen at the U.S. Marine Corps Museum. It's a hell of a thing. You could do that with Hoth. You could walk in, there's the command center. You walk in and you see maybe like a schematic of the Millennium Falcon. All right. This would, a good Star Wars land would cost money. Okay, so you got Tatooine, Falcon sitting there with it. You go to Hoth land, Hoth, there's another version of the Falcon, X-Wings, everything. And then you go out into Hoth itself, which would be cool. Then you go to Andor, all right? Look, a restaurant situated around Cloud City. Why didn't they do that? With the interactive, Vader shows up, you've got Han and Leia showing up, you could actually have, and it would be like like an overlook where you've got this, it looks like the architecture of Cloud City, but you've got like a place that's outdoors, like a patio, where it's kind of off limits, so Vader and Luke could fight. That would be great dinner entertainment. Okay. A lot of things you could do with Star Wars. And I think there might probably be people talking about that, considering that they have to do something. They need it to be a success. And right now it's not. All right. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about oh, I would too. I would too. I'd say something shitty to him and get kicked out. But you know me. Anyway, but as far as like what's going to happen next now, I'm going to tell you something. You may see executives who get the word that their jobs are going to be cut when they take, whatever severance and leave before the end of the year. All right. And I'll tell you something. Right off the bat, Bob Chapek canceled any idea of a female version of Pirates of the Caribbean. It's done. It's canceled. It's over. All right. There's the first, salvo of many to come. Yep. And we'll probably get more. I don't know if Wakanda Forever is a success, but the fact that so many people I know despise it because it's Missandra's propaganda and it just kicks the shit out of black men. I don't think it will be. Again, we'll just have to see what happens. Anyway, I gotta go, so why don't you guys go back to Midnight's Edge, and I'm gonna go and work in my office. I'll talk to y'all later. See you around the galaxy.